Hey, it's Linnell, and I live full-time on cruise ships. And there are some things that living on cruise ships just totally frustrates me. It's just very aggravating. And even though I still love living on cruise ships, these 10 things are the most annoying things to me. Living on cruise ships is not all oceans and buffet, but there are some things that will totally drive you mad. Fortunately, the pros for me outweigh the cons. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you those 10 things that just get on my absolute last nerve. And if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna give you a bonus item that I think everybody who cruises have the same frustration. Hey y'all, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'm Linnell. I sold everything and now I live on cruise ships full time. If this video is a blessing to you, I want to encourage you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on notifications. Hit the bell for all notifications so that you never ever miss another video. And follow me on my journey from poverty to paradise. Yep, if you saw the intro screen, then you know that I live full-time on cruise ships. I sold everything, my house, my car, I quit my job, I got a divorce, and I live full-time on cruise ships. And I do that on $2,000 a month. You did not see it wrong, it is correct. And if you are interested in the details of that, I have a whole video, my very first video that I made for the channel, explaining how I found cruises that allow me to live this wonderful lifestyle that I live. So check that out. The link is in the video description. And I'm gonna answer a few questions that people ask me on every video. So we can avoid those questions in the comment section. And then I'm gonna get to the top 10 annoying things that I don't like about living on cruise ships. One of the questions I get asked all the time is it just you? Yep, I'm solo, I cruise solo. A few times my sisters have cruised with me and once a friend cruised with me New Year's, but other than that, I am cruising full-time solo. Do I stay in the same cabin or do I have to change cabins? Yes and no. Me booking cruises is just like you booking cruises. If the cabin that I booked, say I'm gonna be on a cruise ship for a month or 2 months. When I book a cruise, I pick out my cabin. When I pick the second cruise, if that cabin's still available, then I get to stay in that cabin. I can pick that one. If not, and somebody else has it, then I gotta pick another cabin, and yeah, I'll stay in another cabin. But I am a minimalist. Everything I own is in just a couple of suitcases, suitcase and backpack. And so it only takes me about 20 minutes to pack, so no big deal for me. I don't mind moving cabins. If I can, I do try and stay in the same cabin on back-to-back cruises. How long am I on cruises and do I ever come back on land? As you can see right now in the background, I am on land right now. There are times when in between cruises, it might be a day or two and I might stay in a hotel, or I might be moving from cruises over in Miami to cruises over in Tampa or cruises over in LA. In those cases, yeah, I might have a day or two that I'm staying in hotels. I might take a week vacation and go stay with family, visit friends, whatever the case may be. What you see in the background right now is I'm in Barcelona, Spain, and I actually took a vacation, 30 days vacation from Carnival Valor. So I took a transatlantic cruise from New Orleans to Barcelona. It was 16 days. That cruise cost me 173 bucks. I took a month vacation and I went over to Vietnam. I did post those videos, some videos of my fun over in Vietnam on the channel. You can check those out. And now I'm back in Barcelona, getting ready to get back on Carnival Valor. And it is a 15-day cruise back to New Orleans. I can't remember how much I paid for that. I want to say 120, 130, 140, something like that. But yeah, so I'm on land right now. I have been cruising full time since the 4th of July in 2024. So it's been almost a year. Now that we got that out of the way, as I said, I'm here in Barcelona. I'm staying over in that hotel, Holiday Inn Express, and I'm just here for 3 days. I booked that hotel for 3 days before and after the cruise because I knew that there would be some jet lag, time change, and things like that between the cruise and going over to Vietnam and coming back. So yeah, tomorrow I get on my cruise and I leave the hotel. All right, so let's get to why you came to this video. The 10 things that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. The first one are tender boats. Most of the cruises that I take, when we go to port, the ship pulls right up to the dock and we walk off. There are a few where you actually have to take a tender boat, and basically they're putting 150, 200 people, sometimes more, on a floating vessel, and having to stand in the long lines and deal with the people. A lot of people are not used to it, and they frustrate everybody else around them. And so you have to bring your patience in those situations. Normally there's going to be at least 2 tender boats, maybe more, but one will hold people who are on who are going on excursions, and then the other one you have to get tickets. On Carnival, I'm okay. I have priority, so I can just go whenever I want to. On Royal, I don't think I've taken a tender boat on Royal in a while. But regardless, if you don't have that, if you don't have that priority, then it can be really frustrating getting on the tender boats, having to wait for the specific time, having to deal with the frustrations of the other people. And I definitely have to bring my patience, because I actually hate getting on the tender boats because of having to deal with other people and their frustrations. There have been times where I went to a port, the cruise ship pulled up to a port, and it was a tender boat, and I just ain't feel like dealing with the hassle, so I just didn't get off the ship. I'm trying to think of the ports that I can recall offhand that have tender boats are Belize, Catalina Island, Cabo San Lucas, and a few others I can't think of right now. So keep that in mind. Number 2, you know what's not fun? Waking up in a different time zone and not knowing what the heck the time is. That has happened to me so many times, really for sure on the transatlantic cruises, but even just in the Caribbean. When you are sailing and that clock changes and your body is like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. It's still blah, 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 blah time. And the ship is like, nah, girl, it's this time. You got to get up and get up off this ship. So having time zone whiplash is something that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. The third thing that I absolutely hate about living full-time on cruise ships is the laundry situation. It's better now that, well, at least on Carnival cruises, I get free laundry because of how many cruises I've taken. But even with that, I don't know how they actually do laundry. I would really like to. I think there's some tours where you can go and see how they actually do the laundry, but I don't know how they actually do the laundry. But my clothes don't always come out as clean as if I would have used a washing machine and dryer. So I don't know if they're doing some kind of dry cleaning or what. Not dry cleaning. Cleaning with dry, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, and the same thing with Royal Caribbean. Now, Royal Caribbean, I don't get free laundry, so I do have to pay for it, so it is expensive, or I have to just break down and do laundry by hand. So laundry is definitely something I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. Yeah, for those reasons, laundry is something that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. Normally, when I'm back on land for a couple days, but sometimes I'm on the ship for like 90 days, right? So there's that, and I just deal with it. But there's been a few times where, like, I had a stain in my my capri pants. Once I got off the ship and I went over to Vietnam and I had my laundry done. Laundry was done for like $2, and they got out the stains that the cruise ship laundry could not get out. And it was a small stain, so I didn't worry about trying to do it by hand. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing with their laundry on cruise ships. Hey friends, sorry to interrupt your viewing pleasure, but I gotta take a moment because I've been out for a month and yeah, my views are down, which means I need to let YouTube know that, hey, Linnell is back in action. So if you're enjoying this content, make sure you go ahead and click the thumbs up button for me so the algorithm, she, the YouTube algorithm will know, hey, Linnell is back with some more cruise content and we need to send this video out to some more people so they can check it out. So do me a favor, click that thumbs up button. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe. Click the all button notification bell so you won't miss the next video that I put out. All right, let me let you get back to the video. As these things sometimes happen, of course I left one out. So by the power of the magic of editing, I'm bringing you the one that I forgot, that something that I absolutely hate about full-time cruising, and that is that the areas that you want to be in are always crowded at the worst times. Well, the time that you want to be in it, right? So like the time that you want to go to the pool, or the time that you want to go to the gym, or the time that you want to go to the steam room, the time that you want to watch a movie, there's so many people there. And I'm trying to watch Wicked. Listen, y'all need to go sit down somewhere, because I'm trying to watch this movie and y'all little chatter over there, y'all walking through, you know, in front of the screen is not good for my movie. So I need y'all to sit y'all behinds down somewhere. What's good for me is that, of course, I get an opportunity to do the things over and over. So if one, say if a show is really too crowded, then I can go to the next one or whatever the case may be. But 9 times out of 10, the things that I want to do are usually the things that are popular to everybody else. And so that's one thing that, unfortunately, it comes with the territory, but I do hate that about full-time cruising. I just went to the movies and I saw Mission Impossible. Is it 5? Yeah, Mission Impossible 5. And that movie was only $2. But there was like 12 people in the theater. And the theater sat like, I don't know, 120, 150 people. Yeah, that's not happening on the movies on the cruise ship. Everybody's going to come and they're going to crowd around. So yeah, that's something that, unfortunately, it happens. But it can be frustrating. I mentioned that I sold my house, sold my car, got rid of 99% of my possessions. So one of the other things that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships is I don't own a car. So when I am on land, I can't just pick up and go to wherever I want to, when I want to. I have to find other methods of transportation, whether it's Uber or walk or take a city bus or whatever the case may be. I have to learn how to deal with it, and I can get around and I can do everything I would do normally on land. This is a daycare. I thought it was so cute. The kids are gone now. Yeah. Yeah, when I walked by here earlier, the kids were at daycare. They were playing. I thought it was so adorable. But that's their little playground. Oh yeah, transportation. So yeah, that's something that I don't really like, especially because I'm so independent. When I did have a car, I always like to drive myself because I like to be in control. But yeah, not having my own car, not even a scooter or a bicycle or anything like that, having to rely on other people to get where I need to go. Or I took city buses here in Barcelona a few times. And, you know, so you got to wait on whenever the bus comes. And, of course, you got to be around other people and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's something that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. All right, so I just got off the city bus. I have no idea why, but for some reason, they don't want you to get off at the front door. No one else was getting on. The door was open. I don't know what he was saying because he was talking in Spanish. I was sitting at the front of the bus, and when the bus stopped, I got to the door because I was in the front seat. The door was open, and I went to get out, and he closed the door on me and said something in Spanish. So I motioned to the back of the bus. As soon as I turned, he opened the door again. So I didn't know if he was saying to just back up or to go to the back. So me, with my intelligent self, decides, okay, he opened the door, that means I can go out now. No, that's not what that means. Because as soon as I turned around, he closed the door, and then he started yelling at me in Spanish. So I have no idea what he was saying. So now I know, do not try to get off the bus at the front door. Go to the back door and get off. Actually, now that I think about it, this is my 3rd time on the bus. No, 4th time on the bus. The first 2 times was yesterday, and I was on the bus again today. The first 2 times yesterday, I did get off at the front door. Today, so actually I was going to Burger King, and I stopped at the grocery store. But yeah, went to Burger King for lunch. And when I went to Burger King, I was already at the back door. So when he opened that door, I got off at the back. So no big deal. and then today was the 4th time. The first 2 times was yesterday. I got on the bus just so I could see how to navigate it, how much it costs. I didn't go anywhere. I just got on the bus, saw where it went, got kicked off because the man was saying, he was gesturing that it was the end of the line, and I saw everybody else get off the bus. So I got off, and I did get off at the front door on that bus. And then I got off and I saw another bus going the way I came. And so I ran across the street and I jumped on that bus. Well, that bus did not go back to the bus stop that I got on. It went that way, but then it made a turn and it went to the hospital. And eventually it made it back to the spot that I originally got on. The other bus. There's the bus right there. Yeah, so that's what the buses look like. But anyway, so yeah, I sat on that bus for like an hour, and I got to see some of the city. Just kind of got lost. Had my phone charger, so I was good. Long as I got my phone charger, some euros, my debit card, and a credit card, I'm good. Because even if I get lost, I can always walk, use my feet to get to another bus stop, or Uber, a train, whatever. So I was okay getting lost. But anyway, yeah, I sat on that bus for about an hour, and then eventually it came back to the bus stop that's over here. But it let me back on the same side of the street that I got on. So anyway, I learned about the bus. And that bus, he let me get off at the front door also. So yesterday I got off at the front of the bus twice. Today I got off the bus twice. One time I was at the middle already, and for whatever reason, this 4th time, he did not want me to get off at the front of the bus. I don't know why. Another thing that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships is it's kind of a yin-yang thing. I love that I'm going from poverty to paradise, and I get to see all these beautiful places and see the world. But the other side of it is, if I find a place that I don't like, great, I can just jump back on the cruise ship and do activities there, go to the spa, go back to my cabin, go do whatever. But if I find a place that I love, unfortunately, I'm stuck to just those 6, 7, 8 hours that the cruise ship is going to be docked. And then I gotta say bye-bye, and who knows when I'll get back to that place. Maybe I'll be there on the next cruise or the next 2 cruises, maybe not. So yeah, that's something that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships, having to part ways with a place that I've fallen in love with, and it's like, oh, I need more time here, I wanna stay here. One of the places that I probably wouldn't live in, but I absolutely loved and I wish I had more time in, was Alicante, Spain. That's a place that I went to very recently, and I really do wish that I had more time to spend there. I think I went live, if I remember correctly. And you might have joined me during that live video, and it was such a wonderful, beautiful place. I definitely want to go back and see more. But yeah, something else that I hate. Another thing that can be frustrating and I have to bring my patience with is when there is a time to run errands, it's a whole task. It ain't like, okay, I need my prescriptions filled, call up Walmart or Publix or whatever, put in my refill, and then go pick it up at 2 o'clock, or go to the store, drop it off, walk around, shop, pick it up when I'm done. No, it's a whole errand day. Normally, of course, I have to schedule it, right? So if I'm not off the ship in between cruises, say I'm doing a back-to-back cruise, I have to get off the ship. Normally I do that in Miami. I have to, of course, get off the ship, take the shuttle to the bus, take the bus to wherever I'm going, figure out the bus schedule, of course. Speaking of buses, this hotel is very convenient to where the bus stops are. I think there's probably 10 or 12 buses that come over here. I might be exaggerating. But anyway, yeah, and then I have to, of course, get to that store, do what we do with prescriptions, and then I gotta do the whole thing back in reverse. So yeah, I can do what I need to as far as, getting supplies, getting my toiletries, personal things like that, getting my prescriptions, getting my hair done, things like that. But it is a whole day event instead of just a minor thing that you would normally do at home. So that's something that I hate about full-time cruising. Another thing that I hate about cruising, unless I'm in my cabin, you're never alone. I'm never alone unless I'm in my cabin. And even then, of course, the housekeepers will, the stateroom attendants will come. And most of the time, I just tell them ahead of time that I don't need my room clean, so they kind of leave me alone. But sometimes they still want to knock every day and just confirm. You need towels, you need this. But outside that cabin, you are never alone. There may be a few quiet areas, especially when you're in port and everybody else is off the ship and you stay on the ship. Then in those cases, then yeah, you might find some quiet areas, but it's not 100% guaranteed that you'll be alone. Whereas, of course, back when I owned my house, if I wanted to go sit on my front porch, my back porch, whatever the case may be, when I wanted to go to the kitchen, I didn't worry about nobody else being there. I mean, of course, unless, my family was home or something like that. But every time I want to go eat, unless I'm ordering something from room service, and then you still have to deal with a person, right? But every time I want to go eat, there's other people around all the time. All the time, never alone. Hello. Hola, guys. Yeah, so the hallways, the elevators, the lounges, everywhere you go, the pool. So it's cruise life, not quiet life, not alone life. So yeah, that's one thing. If I had to say that I missed about having my own house and living full-time on cruise ships, that's one thing that I do miss. Just, being alone. Yeah, if I want to be alone, I have to go in my cabin. If I want to be 100% sure that I'm going to be alone, sometimes I can go into like a lounge or the pool or whatever, but there's no 100% guarantee. So, another thing that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships, now, I've never been seasick before, but when the ship is rocking, your whole house is rocking. You can't just go into another room or go over to a neighbor's house or anything like that. This is the grocery store right here by my hotel. It's called Caprabo. And then there's a restaurant here called Vienna. And then my hotel's on the other side. Ooh, that city bus is riding, ain't it? Yeah, so just getting my steps in when I'm making this video. Let me see where I'm at. Ooh, not very many. I've only done 2,300 steps during the making of this video, and I'm almost to the end of it. Yeah, so that's something that I hate about living on a cruise ship. You can't escape that. Sometimes I call it the motion of the ocean. When the ship is rocking, if there's a storm, there's nowhere for you to go. Like I said, I don't get seasick, so it doesn't bother me too much, but a lot of other people will get seasick, and you know that the ship is rocking more than usual because they will bring out I call them the barf bags. When you're walking through the hallways over by the elevators and the stairways, you will see the little paper bags set out, so there's no way to avoid that ship rocking when there's a storm. Something else not so great about living full-time on cruise ships. Another thing, and I think this is my number 10 thing, if I'm adding correctly. Another thing that I absolutely hate about living full-time on cruise ships, and it can be frustrating, is rules. Oh my gosh, so many rules. If you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, then you know that I drink bottled water. You cannot bring your own bottled water. You have to get cartons or cans of water. Restrictions on what you can bring on the ship, restrictions of food you can bring on the ship. You got all the paperwork that you have to get on the ship, to get all the paperwork you need to get on and off the ship. You got to have your ship card at all times. All the carry-on food rules, things you can and cannot bring on the ship. The customs paperwork that you have to fill out, all that stuff. It's just, you got to do it every cruise. My flight from Vietnam to here, Barcelona, I flew from Vietnam to Singapore, and then I had to switch planes. The plane from Singapore to Barcelona had a stop in Milan. Once we got to Milan, I was on the same plane. I didn't have to get off. I didn't have to show my customs paperwork or my any kind of visas, or I didn't have to get off the ship and get off the plane and then get back on the plane. You do have to do that on cruise ships, except for Galveston. But even then, you still have to go down and get reapproved or whatever, re-registered. They still have to look at your documents and all that. So yeah, that's something that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. You got to do it every time the cruise ends. Kind of frustrating. You can see a full view of my hotel right there. One of those is my room. And as promised, I have a bonus one that I think everybody who cruises has the same frustration. It's something that, if you're not careful, can get really out of hand, and I hate it. Something else that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. So the area that I'm in, I don't know, some kind of like manufacturing area, I think. There's a bunch of shops over here. But I haven't heard it this time that I'm here, but the last time I was here, we heard a bunch of live music from your room and you could not escape it. It didn't bother me because I'm not a light sleeper. I slept through it. But some of the other people who came off the same cruise ship as me stayed here, and it was annoying to them. But this place right here says disco. So they were having some kind of concert thingamajig, and it's right next to the hotel. All right, so thank you for staying to the end. The bonus one that is very annoying to me, and I think everyone else who cruises, is the constant upsells. Some cruise lines are worse than others, but yeah, when you're included, quote unquote, in all-inclusive cruise, there's so many things that they upsell you on before you get on the ship and once you're on the ship. And if you're new to cruising or you haven't been on a cruise yet, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about. If you've been on cruise ships before, then you already know. So for me, now that I've been living on cruise ships full time, and of course I'm doing it on a budget, as I said, $2,000 a month, then I pretty much have it down where I know things that I'm gonna buy and not buy, which for me is usually water and Wi-Fi. But just a regular cruise, or someone who is getting ready to live full-time on cruise ships, or someone who has never taken a cruise, know that there are a lot of upsells. So whether it's a drink, whether it's candy, whether it's bottled water, whether it's specialty dining, the excursions, so many things that they are going to try and upsell you on, and it can be frustrating. Especially if you have never been on a cruise before, and you got your family and friends saying, yeah, we're just gonna pay whatever, $1,200 per person for this cruise. Everything's included. You got your food, you got your entertainment, and then you get on the ship and it's like, this stuff starts to add up. I wanna go on an excursion. I wanna do this. I wanna do that. I wanna participate in this. I wanna enjoy this. And before you know it, the cruise price done doubled. That $1,200 done went to $2,400, and you trying to figure out how you're gonna pay this credit card off. So, yeah, a lot of things that I absolutely hate about living full-time on cruise ships, but guess what I'm still doing? I'm still living full-time on cruise ships. So, Linnell, if you hate so many things about living full-time on cruise ships, then why do you still do it? Because if I told you all of the pros that I love about cruising full-time on cruise ships, you would know that they far outweigh the things that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. And if you want to know what those things are, then of course, subscribe to the channel, check it out. I have lots of more content coming up. I already have over 200 videos on the channel, and I show every video all of the wonderful things that I'm doing in this cruise life. All right, there you have it, the things that I hate most about living full-time on cruise ships. But I still live full-time on cruise ships because, yes, there are way more things that I love about living on cruise ships than the things that I hate about living full-time on cruise ships. So if you are interested in this kind of content, make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell to make sure that you are notified every time I make a new video. And thank you so much for watching. It is getting dark out here, as you can see. And so I'm gonna get off of this camera and go get on Carnival Valor and enjoy my next transatlantic cruise going back to the United States And of course, the ship was in dry dock. So I took some footage of what it looked like before it went to dry dock. And now when I go back, I'm going to be able to give you a peek at what it looks like after it comes from dry dock. I better be able to tell some difference. Yeah, I think my watch was just off before. It's straight now. It says, and my goal is 7,000 steps per day. I went earlier, but I don't think I had my watch on. So I think these 7,575 steps were just me making this video, walking around making this video. So yay, got my steps in. All right. It's a beautiful evening. It's pretty late though. It's 9:20 p.m. and look how bright it is. It still is out here. 9:20 p.m. So yeah, I'm gonna head back over to that ship in the morning, afternoon. I don't know what time we board. But I'm going to bring you some more amazing content. In the meantime, while I'm doing that, if you haven't already, make sure you check out this video right here or this video right here. And I hope you have an amazing day. And I hope to see you on the next cruise. Thanks for watching.